the ledge would be, let's say they decide that they're going to do a draft for this war that we are already basically in, just not announced. Okay. I have a child that we might be in this war as long as he is a child and into his adulthood. I don't want him going. So that would make me want to most definitely get people involved and make them know what's what happens when they do a draft. Okay, I would want people to know that. I would want people to know about reparations. If they decided that they were, I said a couple of weeks ago, I was speaking about the Hispanic people that were in cages and separated from their family at the border, and they wanted to be able to give them 450K to 900K for them being separated. And I said that they should have never been separated, and they never should have been put in cages, and they deserve that money. But in the same breath, I also expressed Black people, especially of slave background and ancestry, okay, we haven't gotten anything. We're literally, we have had to start from the bottom up with nothing. And I'm saying that you deserve that money. They shouldn't have done it to you. But do you agree that we deserve the money that is owed to us also? Like the fact that we were separated from our families, and not just separated from our families, we were stolen from another country. Our heritage was erased from us. We were beaten. We were made as, what do you call those things? Experiments. To this day, we are still not right with what's going on with us. Traumatic stuff that has gone generation that have messed up our culture and our people. And we deserve reparations for that because we built this country, okay, and for free. And even just a couple of weeks ago, we were being told that we were paying the debt to the slave owners for them losing their slaves, okay? So I want to know what you think about it. I want to know what you think about the war. I want to know what you think about we're gonna talk about Roe versus Wade. We're gonna talk about I just got a whole bunch of stuff that I want to talk to you guys about. I want to dive in, and I'm really tired of everything that we talk about being more or less negative. I can't wait to the day that we can actually say, we did it. We went out together. We said that we were going to vote for this, and this is what we got. Or we got them out. The people that weren't moving like we needed them to, or anything. So we want to be able to have some type of dialogue today. Okay. So once again, these are the questions that I have for you. Please comment in the comment area, and I want to go ahead and get into why Black people, why it's important for every American to vote, for why it's important for every Black person to vote.
Did you know that the largest block of voters isn't Democrats or Republicans? It's people who don't usually vote. What would happen if everyone voted? The missing voters are predominantly the people who face the largest barriers to economic opportunity and security, and who support the most progressive ideas for how to fix our nation. They're people of color, young people, people with lower incomes who are often working multiple jobs and don't get time off to vote. So what would happen if everyone voted? Transformation. It turns out that the people who are most likely to vote in every election have different priorities than those who don't. On issue after issue, a majority of more affluent, regular voters opposed the progressive option, while a majority of lower-income non-voters supported it. Just look at the numbers on these powerful ideas. Increasing aid to the poor, government guaranteeing jobs and high living standards, a high enough minimum wage to keep workers out of poverty. Politicians are accountable to the people who put them in office, and right now, a donor class that is whiter, wealthier, and more male than the population as a whole is voting with their money and at the ballot box. But when we, the people, all vote in numbers, they will be accountable to us. The barriers that many potential voters face are well known. Right-wing politicians have created a whole arsenal of tactics, from photo ID requirements to reducing early voting, closing polling places, purging voters who are already registered from the rolls, and barring people with criminal records from voting. All designed to keep people of color, young people, and people with lower incomes from casting a ballot. And don't forget the tens of millions of aspiring Americans who desperately want a path to citizenship. By blocking their path, the right wing is blocking their vote, too. But what if we pushed back and demanded a government that helps citizens to vote rather than suppresses our vote? One way is to eliminate the biggest barrier to voting in the first place and automatically register every eligible citizen through automatic voter registration. Instead of requiring people to seek out the proper forms, offices, and deadlines for voter registration, states can automatically enroll their residents using information they already have on file. At Demos, we crunched the numbers and estimated that automatic voter registration nationwide would instantly add 27 million new registered voters to the rolls, more than half of the 51 million eligible people who are currently unregistered. But don't just take my word for it. The state of Oregon implemented AVR in 2016, and here's what they found. 95% of people who were registered through AVR were first-time voters in the 2016 elections. And there are other practical fixes for low voter participation. Why not enable people to create or update their registrations the same day they vote, rather than making us meet an arbitrary cutoff? Why not let everybody vote at home and send our ballot in the mail? And why do we have to vote on a Tuesday? Just think about the kinds of changes we could make if everyone voted. We could enact policies to create better paying jobs and better working conditions. We could rebuild opportunity through debt-free college. We could end mass incarceration and clear the path to citizenship. We could protect our families with universal health care, reproductive justice, and a real safety net. And we could finally check the corporate power that has polluted our democracy. These aren't pie-in-the-sky goals. These are the ideas that most Americans support, but these ideas are underrepresented as long as we are underrepresented. The midterm elections are coming up on November 6th, and any politician who doesn't respect our vote shouldn't get our vote. Tell your friends. You want to know how America can get out of the mess we're in? Vote. Everyone, vote.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so some of the questions that I had this week when I was basically looking at what was happening, you see that the justices are now starting to decide if they were, because they outnumber the liberal justices. Justices are judges, people. Okay. The Supreme Court was able to overturn Roe versus Wade federally. That means that the entire country is not under rule by the government, the federal government, about abortion. Okay, so they gave the power to the states for them to be able to pick individually if they want to be able to have abortion laws, if they want to abolish it, if they don't want to have it in their state. They have that option. Okay, now some states are not gonna go for it, and they're gonna say, yes, we're gonna keep our abortion legal here. And then what happens is the people that are not allowed in certain states, if they are trying to seek an abortion, they're going to have to go out of the state to do so. That would also make it illegal for them to be able to cross the state lines to be able to go have an abortion, and they live in a different state. Okay, so that's just some of the information there. So I want to be able to add, these are the questions that I was asking myself and I was going through answering. One is, what are the traditional Republican values? Okay, because everybody now just thinks it's trumping, being a Trumper or whatever the case may be, and that's not really what Republican values are. They're more Christian, white male, business owner, family, you know what I'm saying, things like this. But on the flip side, it's also uneducated white male and female in rural areas and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to go over those questions. What are the traditional values of a Democrat? Okay, who benefits from Republican votes? Who benefits from Democratic votes? So Republicans, I will tell you, the people that benefit the most from Republican votes would be white rich males. That's who wins when they are dealing with the party of the Republican Party. Democrats, at this point, white gay men are benefiting from the laws and the bills that the Democrats are pushing. Okay, so as a black woman, where are my values and where do I stand in this fight? Okay, as a black man voter, where do you stand? What are they? Okay, so I asked you guys a question like, what would it take for you to say, forget that, I'm not for this, and I'm going to vote against this, and I'm going to tell everybody I know to vote against this. I'm going to get out and get the vote out, or whatever the case may be, what campaign you want to do. This is where I'm at. What does it take to get you out there to be able to stop these people from being able to rule over you and you being able to know that you rule them? So one thing I said was, I would be upset if my child is at school and they say that they have to have a LGBTQ class for them to learn and be sensitive towards them before they do that for race. I would be very upset about that, because I feel that my child endures things that deal with him being a black boy. Okay, and I would want those things to be channeled to him first before he has to open his eyes to something that is more or less an adult situation. Okay, he's not ready for that. But they say that they're not ready for racial critical teaching, critical race theory, but they're ready to be able to listen to, transgender agenda or whatever the case may be, which I don't have a problem with him learning and being able to respect people's boundaries and where they are in life. I don't have a problem with that, but I would have a problem with him having to learn that over them learning about him as a black boy and what there is that what happens with him while he's on an everyday basis. I don't think that that's right. Okay, I would not want that class to be taught before my child is able to have a Spanish class. Okay, I would want him to have a mandatory Spanish class so he can be able to compete with the Spanish speaking people who are here, who are also able to get more money for speaking Spanish and English. I would want that for my child first. Okay, I wanted to talk about the fact that in politics is just like business. Okay, and in this last election, there were candidates that were going places where people really don't vote. Okay, like strip clubs and parties and out and about in different places. And I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to reach their people to be able to get them out to vote. But the problem with that is that, just like in business, somebody can be your friend, but it doesn't mean they're actually going to come and actually support you. Okay, they can say, yeah, I'm for that person or whatever, but them actually getting up and taking their butt to the poll and voting for you is very slim if they've never done it before. So you want to be able to make sure that you are campaigning towards the voters, okay, the people who are already voting. It is good because my platform is to talk to the people who don't vote, who will never want to vote, who said that they are not into politics, they don't want to be in politics. That's my job, to be able to make sure they get the information they need. But as a candidate, you have to go towards those people. So politics is just like being a business owner. You have to realize that everybody's not going to support you. Your family, your friends, or whatever the case may be, they're not going to they're not going to feel obligated to help you. Okay. So I wanted to say, I was going over the voters, right? And I said, let me talk about black men voters, okay, and what their values are and effects of them not voting and voting. And then I also had black men non-voters. And I want to talk about the differences in what they value in comparison, okay, and where they are similar. All right, so black male voters, when they go to the polls or they're talking about politics, they're talking about race and social class, unemployment and employment, underpaid jobs and positions, home ownership, help, also new business assistance, small business assistance. Okay. They also want to know about gun laws, and so does the non-voter wants to know about gun laws. But what they also, and they want to know about debt, and they want to know about mental health. Okay, so they are similar in the fact of gun laws, debt, and also mental health. But a non-voter, when you talk to them about what they're more passionate about, they will say things like child support, homelessness, housing, rental cap, bail, criminals, like criminal rights, and going to jail and stuff like that, being able to get out at the right time, not having any money to be able to pay the bill, but a rich person can pay the bill and get out, that type of stuff. Education and training assistance. Okay. So to me, when I picture these people, I picture the black man voter as like I'll say Twix, Robert Taylor, right? A business owner, a barbershop owner, someone that's involved in the community, things like that. Okay. And then when I think about the non-voter, the voter that doesn't vote, I think about a D-boy. I think about a dude that more or less, he's on an everyday basis, trying to make his money, really doesn't pay attention to the politics, and more or less about what is actually happening in his household. Now, with both of these lists, we could be able to tackle these lists and be able to make sure that both sides are able to get what they need if we were to be able to combine ourselves to actually sit down and talk about what issues are really affecting us and really moving forward. Okay. If every household decided that they were going to look at the issues that they have within their home, it could be anything. It could be like, the household could have a mother that has mental illness. She had postpartum. The child, you could have a child that has, let's say that he has ADHD or something of that nature. A father who is underpaid, but he's going to working two jobs. You know what I'm saying? These are the issues that's inside of their home. And that's the most important issues to them. So those would be the issues that they should be supporting and finding and making sure that the candidates are trying to fix it for them. So every household would be, accounted for. And we'll have a better understanding of what the people need, okay? We want to be able to make sure that we are picking the people who are going to be able to address our needs, okay? So when I say that, people who do not vote, that shit don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? If you don't vote, then don't argue with me. I ask people this all the time. The first thing, when you get fussing with me about what happens on my show, and I get it all the time, and I don't understand why people just want to fuss with me. I get it. I got a show. I do political. But just because you saw a YouTube video or something like that don't mean that you're going to be on the level to be able to argue with me. That's not it at all. So you're going to get cut down at the point of first thing is first. Did you vote in the last election? If you say no, the argument is over. I'm not going to sit and argue with someone who is not going to move forward with being able to move forward with my people. Okay? So I have a problem with that. If you are not voting, then your opinion does not matter, and neither does your vote, because your vote is not being cast. So you're talking to me about nothing. You're moving forward with me, but you're going to leave this conversation and not move forward for your people. So then I talked about what are black women voter values and effects. Okay, black women voters think about healthcare, economic and jobs, economy and jobs. Excuse me. So they put on here immigration. I actually don't believe that. Public safety, discrimination, also child care, and then like gay rights, stuff like that or whatever. Black women are very, very in tune with what's happening in this country. Why? Because they are number one in education right now, number one in new business, number one in technology, number one. There's so much stuff that we're doing right now. That's why we are involved, because we have the children. We know what it is to not have formula or child care or aid for your child or education correct for your child. We know that. So we're in the trenches. Okay. So then black women who don't vote, their values: housing, homelessness, public assistance, education, trade assistance, youth, foster care, adoption, child care also. So these are some of the things that they think about. Now, top 10 issues. Tell me if this matches anything that we're doing. We got maybe one or two on the top 10, okay? And that is health care. I say every last one of us are thinking about health care. That's something that's going on in the country. It says second is immigration, religious liberties, marriage, education, environment, spending, welfare, and election integrity. Having a free and fair election. I don't agree with these top 10, because there's other things that we can be talking about. Why are we talking about marriage? Why are you even worried about marriage? Why is that bothering you when we have water that is not clean in Flint and in every ghetto that is across this country? Why is that important? When we have gun control and everything else, this gun control or gun laws didn't even make the top 10. Why not? Everybody is talking about this right now. But these are not the issues that they're saying are the top 10 issues. So that bothers me, because what plays a part of us voting are race and ethnicity, education and race, also age and generations, gender gaps, religious affiliations. Okay. I bring these issues to you because there are so many things that we are not being able to tackle as a people, because we are not together. And until we actually decide that we're going to sit down, find out what values are important to us, what we need to be able to move forward with, we are still going to be stagnant in the fact that it's just one person at a time instead of us being a powerful force together. I also had here we go. Okay, so then who are the Republicans? Today, I already spoke about this. White evangelicals, white non-college men, rural Southerners, weekly religious servers and attendees, Gen X men. Okay, there's a big part of the Republican Party. The Democratic Party, the white college women, millennials, Hispanic Catholics, religious affiliations, urban Northeasterners, and black women. Black women are the biggest demographic in the Democratic Party. 87% of black women who vote Democrat. But do their values actually work for us? Is the question. Okay, so I wanted us to tackle some of those, because some of these issues can come to our front door and we won't know what is what'll happen to us until it actually happens. Like, do you know what a war would look like if we go into like a nuclear war? Do you know that they can put a cap on crypto? Did you know that crypto just sold their shares of Bitcoin? Did you know that? Did you know that they can actually be able to say, the government can say, there's no other currency going to be accepted except American dollar? They can cut that out. And then it'll be illegal for you to actually trade and buy with Bitcoin or crypto, anything. So I also want to talk about some of the issues that are going on now. Okay, so the wealth report today says that 911 will now have, starting today, starting yesterday, July the 1st, will have mental health, a launch of the mental health 911 line, which I most definitely think that will help, because the police will show up and not know that a person has actual mental issues, and that would actually affect us being that person being able to get processed through the jail and everything else. Okay. Also wanted to go ahead. I had a clip in regards to California is actually giving out a stimulus check for their people. I'm gonna go ahead and let that video run, and then we'll talk about it.
New round of money will be sent to Californians, this time to help with inflation. The governor and lawmakers finally came to an agreement after months of debating the best form of relief. ABC 10's Morgan Reiner covers all things politics. He joins us now with the much needed details.
Chris, the format is similar to the last few rounds of stimulus checks in that it will go to people who have filed taxes. That means people on Social Security, for example, though, will not qualify.
Deshaun Williams has a 4-year-old and another one on the way.
It's been hard to afford a lot of things. I mean, honestly, what usually used to be like $30 goes up to 80 now.
While he'd like the relief now, he knows exactly what he will spend the money on come October at the earliest.
Diapers and food at this point, honestly, just the essentials to, keep the bills low and just survive mostly.
The direct deposits are for people who filed tax returns in 2020 and are on a sliding scale of income. Those who make less than $75,000 a year will get $350. Those who make less than $125,000 a year will get $250, and those who make less than $250,000 a year will get $200. Taxpayers with dependents will get an additional $350. The most a family can get is $1,050.
I think that would be very helpful and sounds kind of amazing, honestly.
Ray Vargas knows how he'll spend it.
For starters, probably bills. I would say little bills, gas, obviously.
Everyone I spoke to listed essentials.
Probably a bill. Pay a bill.
And said they feel bad for those like retirees who no longer pay income tax who will not get the direct deposit.
They have to go through the same thing we do that file our taxes. Yes, I think they should be a part of it also.
The budget does, however, include additional grant funding for those on the state's Supplemental Security Income Program, meant for those 65 and older, disabled, or blind.
Now, Newsom did originally want to send the money to registered vehicle owners instead of by who pay taxes, but the legislature came out on top, Chris.
And Morgan, do we know how many people are expected to actually get these payments?
About 23 million Californians. Now, that includes both tax filers and their dependents.
All right, so it looks like that most of the states, especially Democratic states, are actually thinking about doing this, another stimulus to people. And to be honest, people really need it. The inflation on gas, food, travel, all this stuff is all hitting us, and we need some type of break. The problem is they're still also talking about doing a tax cut, and we're already in debt. We're already sending all this money over to Ukraine. It's just everything is up in the air, and even though we deserve a stimulus check and way bigger than just $1,000 and some odd dollars, we have to also think about, is it going to benefit us in the long run, or are we going to end up paying more just like we are now? Biden actually said that he gave basically a what do you call that? A business stimulus to the gas companies, and they did not drop the prices of gas for us. What they did was they kept it at where it was because they're trying to get as many dollars out of it as they want, as they need, because they feel like the industry is going to go away with them going to electric cars and things like that. So they're keeping the price where it is and they're increasing it. California has gas right now that's like $7.25. That's ridiculous. Okay, so be looking for that and see if that's something that's going to happen for us here in Nevada. I'm not totally sure, but we can ask if we're going to get any money. Okay. I also wanted to talk about. I want to talk to you guys about the war. Actually, I want to talk about that first, and dealing with the war and what it does. Okay, so I just wanted to point out the fact that I want to point out to you basically the top 5 or 6 militaries in the world. Okay, so number 1, they are saying it's us, but I say about a couple of months ago, they said that India was the number 1 military until we started fighting right before Ukraine got invaded. Okay, so you have U.S., Russia, number 2, China, number 3, India, number 4, Japan, number 5, and even South Korea as number 6. Okay, now the reason why I'm saying this is because I want you to think about when people. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a visual. Okay, it's a group of guys. Okay, and in the group of guys, you got the real big dudes and stuff like that. They know they big. Ain't nobody really messing with them. And in the group, you have that little dude that always talks a lot of mess and always ends up, getting into it with somebody because he got big brothers and big men to be able to protect him when he getting in. That would be North Korea. Okay, North Korea would be that little dude in the club that be talking all the mess, and he might be able to get a lick off and hit you, and then you think you about to fight him, and then all these other people jump in and beat you up. Now that is what might happen in this war. Okay, when I think about it, you think about North Korea being like at the tip of like a arrow. Okay, and then on the other sides you have at the top you have China. And you have Russia. On the bottom, you have India, right? And then you also have Japan right here off of the side of China, okay? Now, I just read to you that China, Russia, India, and Japan are all basically in the same region. And these are big guns. But most of the time, you never have to really worry about the big gun. You have to worry about the dude that will just shoot for no reason. The one that will ask, hey, let me see your gun. I'm about to go get somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's Kim Jong-un. That's them people, okay? Because they are more in the fact of, well, not his people. I would say him in general, okay? He want to fight. And he want to show that he's not scared. He has nuclear bombs too. And his nuclear bombs have been tested and they can sail. So he's the problem. And then you got Russia. Always got Russia is like the big tall dude that know he can fight. That's always picking and bullying on people. Okay? So then you have these two. This one saying, I'll get my brothers and they'll beat you up. And then we over here, America, by ourselves. And we that dude. America is that dude that people like, here he come. We don't really have friends, okay? We have people we deal with because of business, but we don't really have, they not really dealing with us. They more or less saying like, here come this fool. He about to start talking mess and everything else. I'm really tired of him, but you know what I'm saying? We just, what's up, man? Hey, how you doing? Yeah, we good. Woo, woo. Yeah, I'll see you later. Man, I can't stand that dude. That's how the rest of the countries think about us, okay? Because we some assholes, and that's just real. We think we the best in everything. We overcharge for everything that goes out, exports and everything else, but they deal with business with us, right? So that's them. Then, so we have to deal with this situation. What happens if Kim Jong-un decide, I'm about to bust a grape over here. I'm about to do something. He sends a missile. We send one back, and it overshoots and hits into Russia, or overshoots and hits into China, or India, or Japan. We've already bombed them, nuclear bombed each one of these countries before, and disintegrated them. Okay, there is they have obligation. They would feel like they have to fight them. Like, y'all can't come over here just shooting at the homie. You know what I'm saying? He over here with us anyway. Y'all go hit us trying to get him. Okay? So that's the fight in between them. And I just really feel like in this war, I need y'all to realize that if they decide they're going to do a draft, we are stuck. If we end up in a depression, we are stuck. Okay? We got some big issues coming this way. Now, Nevada had 16 laws that went into play on July the 1st. I'm going to let this video run for just a second. No? Okay. So let me tell you about some of the laws that they put into place. All right. One would be AB 189, Medicare eligibility for women to extend while they're pregnant. So from 60 days all the way to 12 months of additional care. It's important that women take care of the cookie after they have a baby. Trust me, man, you want the cookie taken care of, okay? AB 363, Clark County Commissions have approved regulation for short-term rentals. Remember, they were talking about the Airbnbs not being able to move forward with being able to do that, and you can't be within 1,000 feet of another Airbnb. This means that Clark County put a halt on that right now, and they're going to wait on that. So you got that. What else happened? Assembly Bill 376 allocates $500K for UNLV's Nevada Immigrant Clinic, giving free legal services to the immigrants and Hispanic people, or whatever the case may be. Okay. Also, the mental health 911, and also crypto sold their shares of Bitcoin. You guys, it's important that you guys pay attention and that you guys interact with me. If you have questions in regards to what's going on in this country, let me know. I would love to be able to speak to you about it. This is Kristie J. This is the Chisholm Report. Every Saturday at 10 o'clock. If you see somebody out there grinding, let them know you see them shining. And I'll see y'all next week.
Assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president,